Boring.
Yeah, probably just leave it there, can't we, for the day? That was terrible once again, wasn't it?
End episode. Thank you. Next. Move on.
I'm going to guess that's probably your one word for the game today.
Yep.
Yeah,
Short
fair
and
enough.
sweet.
Mine one's just going to be dull as well. So there we go. Or toothless, perhaps. Nothing going on in the final third, really. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, we saw the starting lineup. No Scott Wright this time. He was benched. Conor McLennan, new contract, getting a start. And we looked lively in the first half, to be fair, and McLennan himself desperately unlucky with the header off the underside of the bar and bouncing the wrong side of the line. And then there was the chance for Johnny Hayes, who just lacked any sort of composure, which is probably actually another good word we could have used, composure, or therefore lack of.
Yeah, I think maybe the Hayes one is maybe slightly behind him, but you still expect him to do better, at least hit the target. And the McLennan one is probably one where it was another couple inches lower, perhaps, then it maybe bounces down off the underside of the bar and then pretty unlucky. But it was, first half, that was a couple promising signs. Shame we didn't build on it in the second.
Yeah, I was interested to see Greg Lee force his way into the starting lineup. Were you?
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see him in there, but I think he did very, very well, to be honest, both on the defensive side. Looked decent going forward, a few nice touches as well.
Yeah.
Probably one of the few things we can maybe take confidence from going into the next game.
Yeah, well, Fraser Wallace messaged me at full time and said, was there anything to be positive about? And I said, no. Yeah. There was nothing really of note that stuck out, but I suppose maybe Joe Lewis's save in the first half, because Scott Pittman's probably wondering tonight how he didn't score.
Yeah, I thought we got away with one there. I'm quite glad there's no goal line technology to see how close that really was to being over the line or not. I thought at the time originally, I'd said not going to give that, but appears he just did enough to scoop it out there. So fair enough. Thank God for Joe Lewis in that case, and late on as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and we also did see other attack from Livi with Julian Serrano having his goal chalked off for offside. Again, didn't really see any replays whether or not it was right or wrong, but he did look like he was ahead of the defence.
Definitely, but he tucked it away though, to be fair to the fella.
He did
very nicely, indeed. Yeah. Can see why he's on Monaco's books.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure he's enjoying life in Livingston instead of on the south coast of France.
I know, that would be thrilling, wouldn't it? What a change that is to West Lothian, but...
Yeah. Aberdeen, though, second half, boy, that was a tough watch. The first half was largely enjoyable because, I use that phrase very loosely, given we actually created chances and looked like scoring. But once again, we just are not clinical enough in front of goal. And that was very evident second half. Yeah,
I thought the first half looked a bit more fluid with the way things are going, which was in comparison. Thank you. It was a bit better, but then the first 15 minutes, the second half, were possibly the slowest 15 minutes we've watched in quite a while. It was just dull, never really seemed to get going. And it weren't clinical, just very, very boring. And then again, leaving it so late to make any changes from Messrs McInnes, which is pretty disappointing when you're sat at 0-0 against Livingston, who, of course, been on a good run and all that good stuff, but they didn't exactly sort of blow us away at all, did they?
No, you kind of got the impression as the second half wore on. Rob McLean will probably have told us all different, but Livingston were definitely going to be the happier team with a point. They're happy to keep the unbeaten run going. I don't know how many times McLean and Young wanted to say a point away at Livingston is a good result, but when you look at Celtic dropping points yet again, Hibs winning, it's really not from an Aberdeen perspective, it's not a good result.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe they've had a good run. It's a point away at Livingston, fair enough. But Red Point of View tweeted out after full time that's the fifth separate 0-0 of the season for Aberdeen. When you look that would be a good point if we'd not just dropped points to St Johnstone in another extremely dull game.
And Ian Watson texted me at full time. He has a £5 double on no goal scorer today and again on Tuesday. Returns a nice healthy sum, and he's kind of can't argue that that's not going to come in.
Halfway there. Might depend on who we bring in terms of a striker. If we bring in anyone at this rate, let's be honest, that might affect that bit. You never know. It'd be great if we brought someone in and all of a sudden we were world beaters. A striker that could find the back of the net. That would be nice. Go ahead of Tuesday, but I have my reservations.
Yeah, and then one other thing of note from Joe Sutherland, who tweeted out that that's now 1 win in our last 11 away games, 1 goal in our last 4 away games, which was actually an own goal. And Celtic have now won once in their last 6 league games, and we've managed to close the gap by a full 0 points. Frustrating.
Yes, very, very, very dire viewing. And then when you hear that as well, it just compiles the misery, doesn't it? It's not good whatsoever. And I don't know where it's going to change, how it's going to change, considering I don't think McInnes will ever leave. I think he's here for life. He's got tenure. But it's just, even if you break it down to individual games, I get like the last 2 games, it's been 0-0 going into the final 10 minutes. And we've still got Niall McGinn sitting on the bench. And Bruce Anderson, again, okay, he came on, missed a big chance, but he actually got in the position to have the chance, in all honesty, to be fair. That's not terrible. More can be said for the rest of the game. But yeah, it's terrible viewing. And it brought me down as well. After Newcastle actually won a game, just brought back down to life the pain and misery of Derek McInnes' Aberdeen.
Callum Wilson's on my bench on fantasy, but thankfully Pep Roulette means he's coming in, so don't worry about that.
All right, well that's lucky. I had Wilson in. So
however, though, we speak about the clinical nature, and you touch on Anderson having his chance. 3 big chances in the second half. First of all, Ross McCrory, who was fed in really well by Ryan Hedges. Do you feel? So first of all, do you think Ross McCrory could have done better? The second chance was Matty Kennedy, who blamed the pitch. And I'm sure the Livi boys, if they're listening in, will definitely not want the pitch blamed for that miss. And then Bruce Anderson, people are clamouring for him to get an opportunity now that, well, for today, we didn't have a striker. McInnes doesn't give him enough time, in my opinion, 7 minutes. But a striker of, Bruce, who's people say he's a predator, given like his finishing ability at the youth leagues and that.
Yeah,
strikers should be scoring that. Such a glorious opportunity.
Yeah, I think he definitely should have done better with that. He's tried to send it back from where it came from, and then he had half a goal to aim at, which was a bit frustrating. And I definitely think McCrory should have done better as well. I don't know why he didn't try aim for the far corner with that one as well, but I suppose finishing's not his speciality. But it's pretty concerning, the lack of goals. It's really, really, really worrying.
Yeah, the irony that McCrory, who should have gone across goal, went near post, and Anderson should have just headed down, goes across goal. It was one of those days. And striker is a position that we're now lacking in, with Sam Cosgrove looking to have sealed a £2 million move to Birmingham, linked with Callum Hendry of St Johnstone. And Fraser Hornby on loan from Rem, is it?
Oh no, I pronounce
however you want to pronounce it. Who's only scored 3 senior goals when he was out on loan from Everton at a Belgian team. Callum Hendry's not even getting a look in at St Johnstone. So how do you feel about those 2 names?
I noticed you didn't try pronounce the Belgian team.
Nope.
But fair enough. We butchered rhymes or reams or whatever anyway. We've not really seen much of Hornby, but I suppose his goal scoring record for the under-21s pretty decent, if that's one thing to go off. And he would provide a focal point, which we love, of course, at Aberdeen Football Club. That's one thing. Hendry, probably a workhorse, but not really a goal scorer, probably similar to Curtis Main. Not particularly inspiring at all whatsoever. But this is where we're at these days. I suppose maybe the idea is bring someone in on loan till the end of the season, and then we might be able to spend Cosgrove money, might be in a better position financially, and also the summer is probably a better time to recruit as well. But going off recent transfer activity anyway, if it's any time a good time to recruit with the man at the helm, the bearded devil.
I know. And, my concern over the 2 names that we've mentioned is both of them haven't been playing regularly or regular football. So match fitness is going to be an immediate concern when our next game is on Tuesday. So if they do go straight into the team, will they be able to produce 90 minutes of football? Hendry's certainly not one that inspires the masses. Hornby, like you said, scored goals for the under-21s. People said he's not prolific enough. Let's remember how many goals Sam Cosgrove scored when we signed him. Lewis Sharp, though, did make the point, how long did it take us to make Cosgrove into a more prolific striker, which is a very valid point. I'll give him that. But for me, Hornby's also got the experience at 21s of linking up with McLennan, Ferguson and McCrory. So if we're going to base it on today's starting 11 where McLennan's going to feature instead of number 25, then, you know, going forward, that's maybe something that they've got from national level that they can bring to club football. I'm maybe clutching at straws here.
True, very true.
I just want a goal.
Yeah, basically. And another one, people mentioned if it's Hornby, then it would be nice to have an option to buy, but I don't know if that's even been rumoured at all in any case. So if it was just a loan until the end of the season, it might be better off with an experienced goal scorer who's scored goals in this league, especially in the end of the season. And it was a good point mentioned about match fitness, because it could be 4 or 5 games before they're completely up to speed, these guys, which we can't really afford to be having that as the case.
No, and you know, we touched on in our preview episode, it's a tough run of games coming up. You just need to take a one look at St Mirren going to Parkhead and winning. We play them in a couple of weeks. We need people to get up to speed. We play Hibs next weekend. They won again today. The gap to Livingston is, we've kept that the same, but depending on Tuesday's result, could go either way. And then we go into a Celtic doubleheader, and Celtic are on a bad run of form. Who could they be more desperate to play?
Exactly, than the team who lies down against them nearly every single time. We did draw 3-3 with them once. Yeah, it'd be typical that if they just come and blow us out of the water and we sit off them, don't even have a go, and then that's the case. It's bad when you know how bad Celtic are being and we're just preparing ourselves to be absolutely demolished.
Yeah. And anyway, looking ahead to Tuesday's game, though, we're delighted to be joined by Euan Rankine from the Official Talk Livi podcast. So Euan will be providing us with a reaction to today's game and then a little insight ahead of Tuesday's game and where he thinks Livingston's strengths and weaknesses lie for the match and also the season. Right, we're joined by Euan from the Official Talk Livi podcast to talk through that very exciting 0-0 that we've just witnessed, Callum. But Euan, I think Livi fans will probably be the happier of the two fans tonight.
Yeah, keeps the unbeaten run going. So 13 unbeaten, 9th clean sheet and amongst that. So can't complain too much. But I think a draw would have been a fair result over the piece. I think Aberdeen maybe edged it chances wise, but I think McLennan obviously had the header early doors, which at the bar should have done better with, and we've had a really good chance first half. Pittman, good save by Joe Lewis, but second half really don't think there was anything in it at all. Thought it was a pretty competitive game, but yeah, happy with the point. A record against Aberdeen since we've came back up's not been great. So to get a point, hopefully we can get a wee bit more on Tuesday night. But yeah, happy enough with a point. I would have taken it before the game started.
Yeah, you boys like reminding me that I need to be more positive when we play, since you haven't beaten us since, was it 2004-05? But Callum, we did ride our luck in the first half a little bit. Was it Serrano with the offside goal and a wonderful save from Joe Lewis denying Pittman. But we did have our chances in the second half. Bruce Anderson must be kicking himself how he didn't score.
I don't know what he's done with that one, in honesty. You saw the replay. He's got basically half of the goal to aim at there. Decides to try to put it back from where it came from and misses the target from by a long way off. But yeah, I think we did sort of ride our luck a little bit. And I know we should be more positive, but I'm definitely not going to be positive going on in Tuesday. Not at all.
No, but Livingston, we said in our last episode that they would kind of have a threat from set pieces, and long throws was something that you guys were certainly keen to exploit, Euan.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran Brown, he's away back down to Cardiff as of tomorrow, long throw specialist, but you'd be surprised it's not actually worked that much for us despite having the long throw. And I think our set piece delivery comes a lot from Josh Mullen, who didn't feature today. Josh has been massive for us since he came back kind of tail end of October.
Yeah.
And his delivery, I mean, Davy Martindale's touching it. He thinks it's probably the best out with the two fullbacks at Rangers in the division, which it's difficult to argue. So I think we missed that a little bit today from dead balls. But never know, Josh might feature, freshen it up on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and Callum, I think that's a concern for us going into Tuesday night. Livingston have got threats that they can freshen up with, and we just look like a team devoid of any ideas, especially goal-scoring ideas.
Yeah, that's sort of a bit of a concern that they've got the option to sort of freshen things up. And you see things like J. Manuel Thomas going off the bench and causing problems, and then look at what we've got coming off the bench. It's not very inspiring, is it?
Also helps when they give their strikers more than 7-8 minutes to make a difference.
Definitely true, but I can understand why now after that Bruce Anderson miss.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though to see if we do freshen up our strike force with one of Fraser Hornby or Callum Hendry by Tuesday.
Well, I noticed Hendry didn't feature for St Johnstone today, so again, it's, as using that word again, uninspiring. It wouldn't be an inspiring signing, would it, if it was Callum Hendry? Fraser Hornby slightly more so, maybe, but fingers crossed we can get someone through the door anyway.
Yeah, and Euan, I suppose looking ahead to Tuesday, with Livingston, do you feel, Rob McLean on Red TV said Aberdeen should be happy with the point today, given Livingston's run. Do you think Livingston will be looking at Tuesday as an opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, our form away from home this season's been much improved. I think, we've had a bit of stick over the last couple of seasons for the lack of wins, but I think we have had a lot of kind of positive displays on the road, and I think since Davy's taken charge especially, we've managed to turn those into results. But I think we've been a wee bit unlucky at Pittodrie the last couple of years. The late goal, kind of first season back up, Ferguson scored stoppage time. I think we drew one each up there that season as well, and I think we've had some decent enough performances up at Pittodrie, but the game earlier in the season, for example, I think Aberdeen really kind of had a 15-minute spell in the game, which they just killed us, a couple of moments of quality. So I think we're more than capable of going up there and causing a threat. It might cause the onus will be on Aberdeen being at home. Could suit us a little bit. We like to kind of sit in and try and play on the break a little bit, might get a bit more space in behind as such. So I think we need to be confident with the run of form that we're on currently.
Yeah, and Callum, we've seen how we've struggled against teams that have sat in against us so far this season, certainly the turn of the year, both home and away. So if that's something that Livingston plan on doing, it could be another painful watch for those of an Aberdeen persuasion.
Definitely, and not only is it a problem when we sort of play against teams, we can't break them down, but Livingston have enough quality about them to then hit us in the break and possibly punish us more than other teams who perhaps do. So that's a bit of a concern. But yeah, it's a very, very dull watching Aberdeen go side to side trying to break down anyone that's got anything about them at the back. Yeah,
I was quite impressed with Jason Holt today I don't know if impressed may be the right word. He certainly liked to break up our play as best he could. Niggly fouls and maybe one or two late challenges on Ryan Hedges. But, you guys are on this brilliant run of form. Do you think you can, Aberdeen have been on patchy form. Do you think Livingston can break into the top four?
There's a chance, but I still think Aberdeen just grind it out season on season. It's what they do. They just kind of know how to get results when it's needed. I think if we're going to catch anyone, it's Hibs. I think they're quite ropey. We played them just a few weeks back and wasn't impressed with them at all. And I think Hibs fans are losing a bit of faith in Jack Ross as well at the same time. So I think it's possible we could catch Hibs, but it'll be a big ask to catch Aberdeen, especially if we don't win on Tuesday night. I think 8 points is going to be quite a big gap, and we've still got quite a lot of fixtures between now and the cup final as well. I think we had 35 games in the space of 11 games in the space of 35 days. So we've had quite a run of fixtures to get through.
Yeah, although I suppose maybe missing out on the top four wouldn't be so bad if silverware ends up in the trophy cabinet at the end of the season.
Nah, I would take that. I would happily take that. And the way I think I saw that fifth place could get European football anyway. So
yeah, depending on the Scottish Cup outcome, I believe.
Yeah, so there's still a chance of that, even if we don't get in the top four. But I think regardless, I think any Livi fan would have bit your hand off for a top 6 finish and competing for silverware at the start of the season.
Yeah, and you must be looking ahead to that cup final. You must be feeling a bit confident for that, especially the run of form, or is there always nerves with Livingston?
It worries me that we are getting talked up as favourites for a cup. I think that's the thing that's really concerning me. It reminds me of 2004 a little bit when Hibs thought they already had their name on the cup. And I think a lot of people just looking at our form, but cup games it's who turns up on the day type thing. And I mean, we have already beat St Johnstone twice, but St Mirren were saying that before the semi-final and we went and beat them. So I think it's really refreshing for Scottish football to see the likes of Livi and St Johnstone in the final. Typically, you'll have the Old Firm, Aberdeen, the 2 Edinburgh sides kind of competing. So I think it is refreshing that there'll be one of the provincial clubs getting their name on the trophy.
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you that maybe watch View on the Terrace, the way they discussed the final and how it would be publicised given teams outside of the Old Firm aren't there. But I think we can all agree it is good for Scottish football on a whole, Calum, seeing, okay, obviously we're not there, so it's not great from our point of view, but it is great seeing these other teams competing for silverware.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It would be nice to see something a bit different for once, but it is probably even more annoying being Army fan that the team that knocked us out then didn't even go on and win it, so we can't even take that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, still not over it at all. No. Like you guys like to pipe up about, we are angry for a reason. We don't let go of things easily.
Oh no, never, not even once.
No, but Euan, looking ahead to Tuesday, then just a final word from you. Thanks for joining us. Just to give a brief Livingston insight to today and ahead for Tuesday. Do you feel kind of watching us today more confident going into Tuesday of getting 3 points, or do you think, depends what we do in the transfer market tomorrow?
Yeah, I think what Aberdeen really lacked today was that kind of focal point. Up top, I was relatively confident when I saw the kind of starting 11, and it's a lot of kind of 10s and wide players that were kind of in amongst it, and you've got McLennan, who, to be fair, has ripped us apart a few times playing on the right hand side, kind of playing through the middle. So it'll be an interesting one. I think Livi and Aberdeen are quite similar teams. They're difficult to break down, and I think Derek McInnes has talked about it before, that whichever team kind of does the ugly side of the game best, I think Aberdeen's quality has kind of shone through in the games previously. But I think it's a really difficult one to call, to be honest. I think, the teams are, as I say, quite similar. So, I mean, we tend to struggle against teams who sit in a bit more against us, but I think we've got a chance on Tuesday because, as I say, Aberdeen being at home, the onus will be on them to try and come out a little bit. But I agree with you guys. I think what you guys do in the transfer market over the next couple of days could kind of dictate the outcome of the game.
Yeah, and I suppose you guys are lucky in the sense that no one's really sniffing around your team so far, although maybe a few folk might start sniffing around the manager if he keeps going the way he is.
Hopefully not. Davy's been incredible since he came in. Doing the podcast, we've spoke to him a lot. He's been really good with us in terms of giving access. But I mean, he's been offered the job a couple of times before, so it's no real surprise we've gone back to him, and he's certainly making management look quite easy just now.
Yeah, if only McInnes could make it look that easy.
That would be nice, yeah. And to be honest, I have to say on Dave Martindale, very happy that he's managed that they passed the test, rightly so, and yeah, he's working wonders with them, so fair play.
Yeah, well, Euan, thanks very much for joining us this evening to give your reaction to the 0-0. Hopefully a more entertaining game on Tuesday, and hopefully for us, the result is a bit more favourable.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Much appreciated.
Perfect. Cheers, Euan.
Oh, there we have it. That was thoughts from Euan Rankine from the official Talk Livi. They've got a podcast going on over there as well. I'll leave the links in the description. After that, Glenn, your one word going into the second of the doubleheader against Livingston. What is it?
Goal. I'm just desperate to see a goal, preferably for Aberdeen.
That would be nice, yeah. The fact you said goal and not goals as well is probably quite telling of where we're all at right now.
Definitely.
Yeah, sort of similar to that, clinical. Simply, we need to be more clinical.
Hopefully we are on Tuesday.
Yep, fingers crossed. We'll be back. When will we be back, Glenn? Oh, I'm trying to think.
Wednesday evening.
Yeah, I think Wednesday evening, and we will have the interview that we will be recording with an academy graduate between now and then, so for you all to look forward to. So to make sure you don't miss it, make sure you subscribe on YouTube with notifications on so you know exactly when that goes live, or follow on any platform that you're listening to us on. Thank you very, very much for watching, listening. Thank you also to SKYLIGHTS for letting us use their song YRA as the intro and outro music. Be sure to check them out too. I'll leave their links in the description. Thanks very much.